What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's Mike Mutzel here. Just getting the camera situated here. This is a live stream. It is unscripted. There is no plan outside of just sharing some research with you, and the real reason why I'm super excited about the low carb, high fat style diet and the way that I got into this 3 years ago. So while we're waiting for a few people to get on, I do want to share with you the results of a study that came out in the Journal of Immunology. I posted links to the research paper that we're going to talk about today. It's a little bright there. I don't know why it's kind of messed up. So we're in my garage gym here, guys. It's Mike Mutzel. I really appreciate you coming on. So the title of the study that we're going to talk about today, as it relates to whole body health, inflammation, and the low carb, high fat style diet, is the relationship between a new biomarker of vagal neuroimmunomodulation and survival in two fatal cancers. So again, in the links below this video in the YouTube description, what I do is before I do these lives, I update those for you, friends. All right, hopefully that's a little better. I know it's a little not so good, but so this the novel biomarker that we're going to talk about today is called heart rate variability divided by your C-reactive protein. So that's why I wear this Oura ring. The Oura ring gives you insight into your body's heart rate variability, along with resting heart rate, along with body temperature, sleep architecture. No one is around. You mean no kids or no people are on? Yeah, there's only 50 people on so far, but we just got on. This was unannounced. So guys, hopefully you can hear me okay. If you can, hit that like button, type something in the comment bar, and I'm going to tell you a little backstory about how I got so interested in the ketogenic diet. So, long story short, someone says I have dystonia. I'm like, so happy to be on my first live with you. Thanks for being here, guys. All right. So back in 2002, a bodybuilding friend of mine introduced me to this idea that if you cut out your carbohydrates and increase dietary fat, that it can help you get lean. And so I started using that off and on since that time. And it was for the first time in my entire life. I'd been weight training about 5 years prior to that. Long story short, a chiropractor when I was 15 because I got arrested for having drugs in high school. I'll tell you that story later. But anyway, I was kind of going down a bad road. In 8th grade and 9th grade, got in trouble. Chiropractor got me into weightlifting. So that really transformed my life. I was able to get my stuff together and all that sort of thing, and graduate high school. My first year of college, a bodybuilding friend, as I mentioned, Greg, introduced me to this low carb, high fat way of dieting. And that was novel at the time. I mean, there was only 2 other people at the gym. And I'm not saying I've been keto since 2002, but there was a few people at the gym that we were training at, Gold's Gym in north of San Francisco, that were keto. And I remember their breath really stunk bad. And when they came, they were very lean and cut, but I just associated keto with bad breath and all that. So, what I used then to stay lean, like for spring break or for other, periods and times in my life, what I would use is I would have more almond butter and just cut out my carbohydrates, and I could get lean like that. But then when the keto diet started to get popular in 2013, 2014, when I was in the midst of writing the book Belly Fat Effect, I remember thinking that, because I was just so myopically focused on the microbiome. There's some research on metabolic endotoxemia coming online, and that dietary fat causes the absorption of pro-inflammatory bacterial fragments. I remember thinking, gosh, what are these people that are so interested in keto? What don't they get about this? Don't they know about the microbiome? So I was, to be honest, back then, not a huge fan of keto. My wife was starting to get into keto in 2013, but what convinced me, a friend of mine, Alessandro Ferretti, I was with my buddy Ben Lynch at a functional medicine conference exactly 3 years ago, maybe a little bit more than 3 years ago. On this day, hey, from Switzerland, thanks for being here. A little bit more than 3 years ago. And Alessandro Ferretti, and this is where we tie into the study that I'm going to share with you today, was telling me, after I went keto, my heart rate variability shot through the roof. And I said, come again? What? And he said, yes. Not only did I have more energy, not only did I lose body fat, but my heart rate variability shot through the roof. And it was from that moment on that I was totally sold. And I started to look and view low carb, high fat nutrition, the ketogenic lifestyle through a different lens. And it ties into the paper that we're going to talk about today. Okay. So when Alessandro Ferretti, who's been on the podcast twice before, I put the links to the most recent interview in this description. The paper actually fell. Let me grab the paper here. Or in my garage gym. Again, sometimes when I do these lives, guys, they're super informal. And I just like to hop on and connect with you guys. Hope you're having a great week. So if you like this content and you want to hear more about this study, please hit that like button. That lets me know that you like this content, and maybe I should or shouldn't make more videos like this. Yeah, so going back to the story with Alessandro, when he said that the keto diet improved his heart rate variability, that's all I needed to hear. And from then on, I've been keto ever since, and I've implemented carb cycling and things along those lines. But that's what's so cool when people tell you the ketogenic diet is bad, or they say that it's unsustainable, it's unhealthy. You need to share with them data like this. So heart rate variability, let's just define that. What is HRV, also known as heart rate variability? This is a way to get an insight into our body's autonomic nervous system tone, okay? So our nervous system, as you know, you've heard about the fight or flight response. This is that feeling that you feel in traffic, usually in situations that are outside of your control. For example, in traffic, we have no control over when the traffic is going to speed up or slow down or end, right? If you've ever been on a tarmac on an airplane and they say, ladies and gentlemen, it's Captain John Smith here. I'm sorry that we're on the runway for an excessive period of time, but Federal Aviation says we got to be here for another 20 minutes. That feeling of like uncertainty, when are we going to go? Why are we here? What are we doing? When it's outside of your control, that dramatically drives, that particular feeling of stress drives the stress response. It decreases heart rate variability, okay? So what we're searching for, if we want to prevent age-related chronic diseases like cancer, like autoimmunity, like heart disease, is to improve your heart rate variability. When you meditate, when you exercise, when you eat a low-fat, when you eat a high-fat, low-carb diet, like a ketogenic diet, you improve your heart rate variability, which is a good thing. One of the tools that I put in the description, guys, is the Oura Ring. So the Oura Ring not only tracks the complex cycles of your sleep, what researchers refer to as sleep architecture, deep sleep, REM sleep, they look at tranquility, but the Oura Ring, and I have thanks to my friend Ben Lynch, a phone call with the CEO tomorrow. Hopefully I'll get you guys a promo code that you can use if you want to learn more about this. So it's a great tool. But the Oura Ring also gives you insight into your heart rate variability, so that you can see like hard training sessions, stressful events, alcohol exposure, fights with your spouse or loved ones or whatever, financial troubles, whatever it is, you will see deviations in your heart rate variability. But what we see is overall more resilience in people when they embark on a high-fat style diet. And it has to do with the way that fats are metabolized through bile acid metabolism and through this reflex arc that I talk about in my book, Belly Fat Effect, called the cholinergic anti-inflammatory reflex arc. Basically, this has to do with your body's brain to spleen communication, and when that's turned on, it suppresses inflammatory pathways in the body, okay? So that's a long-winded way of getting to the study that we're talking about. And again, for those of you just hopping on, we have a lot more of you on right now. It's called, the title of the paper that I'm going to read to you is called The Relationship Between a New Biomarker of Vagal Neuroimmunomodulation and Survival in Two Fatal Cancers. All right, I'm going to put the paper down. Again, for those of you all just hopping on, and if you missed me saying this earlier, the paper and links to it and so forth are in the video in the description below, as are the interviews with Alessandro Freddy. So, what the calculation that I would encourage you to start looking at, a lot of you probably have your C-reactive protein already from your blood work and stuff like that. I might move around here, get a better backdrop. There we go. How's that? A little bit better than just the garage. Okay, so here's the calculation. What you do is you take your heart rate variability and you divide it by your C-reactive protein. The higher the number, the better. How do you make that number higher? Meditation, a low-carb, high-fat style ketogenic diet, getting a good night's sleep, exercise, avoiding processed and refined carbohydrates, doing Tai Chi, yoga. Those are all strategies to improve your heart rate variability. And so what these researchers found is that a low heart rate variability combined with a high C-reactive protein predicted mortality, like the sooner that people would die if they have pancreatic cancer and other fatal cancers. And so that's good enough evidence for me, right? They tracked how many people in the study? So let's see, there was 202 patients with advanced pancreatic cancer, which is a very fatal cancer, as you know. Unfortunately, Steve Jobs died of pancreatic cancer, right? It's very, very fatal due to the types of cells that comprise the pancreas. So again, in those individuals that had a high heart rate variability and a low C-reactive protein lived roughly twice as long as those individuals that had a low heart rate variability and high C-reactive protein. So the math equation is very, very simple, friends. If you have loved ones, people with cancer, people with autoimmunity, people with allergies, people with heart disease that you care about, get them the Oura Ring. Or someone says, just eat meat. Well, I don't know. Is that the answer? I don't know. That could improve someone's heart rate variability. It could decrease others, right? So I know meat's popular and stuff like that. I do love beef, especially compared to other types of animal protein. But, this is where biochemical individuality comes in. If you're eating a 100% meat diet, cool. But what is that doing to your C-reactive protein and your heart rate variability? I hope it's improving it. And so that's where, again, customizing and tinkering and testing is good. There's all these people on the internet that do N of 1 experiments, and things might work for them, but it may not work for you, friends. So again, get something like an Oura Ring, start tracking, doing your blood work, see what works for you, right? So anyway, the garbage can's in the way. That's bugging me. We'll go back over here to the gym. So that's I think it's super, super interesting stuff. Someone says lions live like lions. Yeah. So anyway, guys, if you want to get an easy biomarker that will look into your body's what they call the neuroimmunomodulation. So how is your brain communicating to the rest of your immune system? You can easily ascertain and get a proxy and figure that out by dividing your heart rate variability by your C-reactive protein. And again, the higher the number, the better. So someone said eat a bunch of meat. Okay, that's fine. Okay, right? Before you start eating a bunch of meat, test out your heart rate variability divided by your C-reactive protein, eat a whole bunch of meat, and then see what happens, right? Hopefully, that number would improve. Your heart rate variability would improve and your C-reactive protein would go down. But if it doesn't, then maybe that diet doesn't work for you. And I know that's hard for some of you to hear because you're like, no. The guru says you need to eat this 100% meat diet. And that might work for the guru, but it may not work for you. This is this whole field of precision medicine, of personalized medicine, of pharmacogenomics, where we're understanding that all of our biology, our microbiome is different. And so, again, we tend to follow what the gurus do, but the gurus have different genes than we do. The gurus have different gut bacteria than we do. And so again, I just want to give you tools on this channel to make the best decisions, to help you make the best decisions for your unique biology. So, hope you like this video, guys. Again, it's a little complex, this idea that we can get a window into our body's neuroimmunoinflammatory tone and so forth. Reza says, yeah, said good, how you feel. Jacob, what's happening? Someone says, I don't like having the phone near me. Yeah, man. So the cool thing about the Oura Ring is, and I'm not getting paid to say this, by the way, guys, is it can turn itself on airplane mode. Okay, so that's what's kind of cool. So guys, a tad more volume. I'm speaking into this. I don't know how the volume would be improved on that. Maybe my microphones are busted, but again, this is a super informal video. Just want to share with you this new paper that came across my desk. And so there's links in the description below, and that's why I love supplements like L-theanine, myo-inositol, taurine, magnesium that promote deep sleep because it's better now? Cool. Because deep sleep will improve your heart rate variability, okay? So to summarize, long story short, my friend Alessandro Ferretti, thanks to Ben Lynch, got me into this and sold me on the fact that the ketogenic diet is a helpful strategy of eating because it improves your heart rate variability. Improved heart rate variability is a great way to get an insight into your body's autonomic nervous system tone. That is, the parasympathetic branch of your nervous system is increased and that sympathetic fight or flight branch of your nervous system is decreased. Of course, we want, most of the time, unless we're getting chased by a wild bobcat, we generally in 21st century society, if we want to function and have more, emotional intelligence and empathy with others and communicate with people better, we want a high heart rate variability. That means an improved parasympathetic tone. That's synergistic with better digestion, better bowel motility, reduced inflammation. which is key, guys. So it's hard to burn fat if you're inflamed. That's another cool part about the whole ketogenic diet. Is it one of the ways that it may perhaps affect fat burning is by reducing inflammation in the body. So this new paper, again, came out with a new index, a new, what they called a novel neuroendocrine immune marker. And that marker, again, is to take your heart rate variability, divide it by C-reactive protein. The higher the number, the better. In individuals with, advanced pancreatic cancer, those that had a higher heart rate variability and reduced C-reactive protein, that equation that they called it like the neuroimmune index. They lived nearly twice as long, like 470 days compared to 200 and something days for those that had a reduced heart rate variability. So how can you improve your heart rate variability? Active stress reduction techniques, good sleep, good nutrition. And so for me and for many people, that involves a low carb, high fat style diet, because carbohydrates can actually be stressful on the body by stimulating choline, by stimulating adrenergic pathways, by stimulating catecholamines, adrenaline, noradrenaline, and all that, cortisol. And that's only going to drive the fight or flight response and decrease your heart rate variability. Again, great side benefit of the ketogenic diet is how it improves heart rate variability. So obviously, and then you can reduce your C-reactive protein by flossing your teeth, by getting a good night's sleep. So I just got distracted by a few things. Love the keto lifestyle. It has changed my life. This is from Ronald. Thanks so much for that, Ronald. It's changed my life as well. What else? Curcumin and omega-3 fats are great ways to affect C-reactive protein. And again, exercise and all that. So it's your lifestyle, not just your diet. So links to resources, to supplements that I recommend are below this video, guys, as is the clinical study that I mentioned, and another podcast that I did last year with Alessandro Ferretti, who I'm very grateful for, because without his input, I don't even know where this channel would be. So guys, that's about it. Again, if you like this video, if you're here right now and you like the idea that your diet and your lifestyle can affect your mortality and how long you are on this beautiful earth that we're all a part of, then hit that like button. Please share this with a friend or family member, particularly if they have a chronic inflammatory condition like autoimmunity or like diabetes or like obesity or like cancer, because inflammation is linked with dis-ease, dysfunction. So guys, speaking of that, I'm gonna go exercise with my family. I hope you're doing something fun outdoors or some nature. I'm gonna do some squats and deadlifts tomorrow in here. Maybe I'll show you some snippets of that, but I'll be following the comments. So if you're watching the replay, hit something in the comment and I will connect with you, and we'll catch you on the next video, guys. So really, really appreciate you being here. Hope you have a good evening or good morning, wherever you are in the world, and we'll catch up with you later. Cheers.